Okay, so you know that feeling, right? Like you're dressed up, resume's ready, but your stomach's doing flips.
Yeah, we've all been there. The pre-interview jitters are the worst.
Totally. So today we're doing a deep dive into this YouTube video, Last Minute Interview Prep.
Oh, career vids, right.
That's the one. The guy claims he's a hiring manager with like 30 years of experience.
Well, hopefully he's got some good tips then. Let's see what he's got.
Exactly. No time to waste. Let's jump right in.
Sounds good to me.
The video starts off by talking about how it's normal to get nervous before interviews.
It's so true. You always think you're the only one freaking out in the waiting room.
Right. And this video actually says it's not just okay to be nervous, it's expected.
Almost like if you're not a little nervous, maybe you don't care enough.
Yeah, like you're not taking it seriously. But here's where it gets interesting. They talk about using that nervous energy to your advantage.
Ooh, I like that. Channel it into something positive.
Exactly. Turn those nerves into, like, interview superpowers.
There's some real psychology behind that too.
Is there?
Yeah, think about it. A little bit of nervousness can actually make you sharper, more alert.
Makes sense. You're definitely more likely to pay attention if you're on edge a little.
Exactly. It's about learning to control those nerves, not letting them control you.
I'm into it. So what's next on the list of interview hacks?
Well, the video talks a lot about the importance of company research.
Oh man, I am so guilty of the last-minute LinkedIn stalk.
Uh-huh. We've all been there.
Scrolling through their About page, trying to memorize names
Yeah.
5 minutes before the interview.
But you know what they say, a little preparation goes a long way.
True, true. So how much research is enough? Enough to not sound like a total newbie.
It's not just about not sounding clueless, it's about showing them you're genuinely interested, that you've taken the time to really understand what they're about.
Okay, so like deep dive into their company culture, their mission, all that.
Exactly. Go beyond the surface level. Read articles, check out their social media, maybe even see what their employees are saying on Glassdoor.
Basically become an expert on the company before you even walk in the door.
Think of it less like stalking and more like strategic information gathering.
I like the way you think.
Yeah.
So we've tackled nerves, we've covered research. What else does this interview guru have up his sleeve?
Well, he calls the job description your blueprint.
Blueprint.
Yeah, he says you should be using keywords from the job description when you answer questions.
Interesting. So, like, if they're looking for someone with strong communication skills, I should make sure to mention my killer presentation at that conference last year.
Exactly. It's all about showing them that you've got what they're looking for.
Okay, but isn't there a fine line between highlighting your skills and just, like, parroting back the job posting?
You're right. You've got to be subtle about it. Don't just regurgitate the whole thing word for word.
So how do you find that balance? How do you sprinkle those keywords in without sounding like a robot?
That's where your research comes in.
Ah, okay. So I can say something like, I noticed you're looking for someone with strong communication skills. In my previous role, I was responsible for leading team meetings and presenting to clients, which really helped me to hone those skills.
Now you're talking.
Okay, I'm getting the hang of this.
See, you're a natural. This is good stuff.
All right, hit me with the next tip. What else did this video say? All right, so what about that dreaded question? The greatest weakness. Every interviewer seems to love that one.
It's a classic for a reason, right? They want to see if you're self-aware, if you can own up to your, areas for improvement.
But it's such a tricky one to answer. The video suggests, like, disguising strengths as weaknesses.
Yeah, like saying you're too much of a perfectionist or you work too hard.
Oh, I've totally used those. But it always feels a little, I don't know, cheesy. Like, come on, no one's going to say, sorry, we need someone who's less dedicated.
Right. It's super transparent. Experienced interviewers can see right through it.
So what's the play then? How do you answer authentically without, like, sabotaging yourself?
Think about it this way. Instead of masking a strength, talk about an actual area where you're working to improve.
Okay, so like instead of saying I'm too detail-oriented, I could say, what? I'm working on seeing the bigger picture.
Exactly. Or let's say you're not the best at public speaking, which, let's be honest, a lot of people aren't.
Yeah, no shame in that. Stage fright is real.
Totally. So instead of saying, oh, I get a little nervous presenting, you could say, I'm actively taking steps to become a more confident public speaker.
Oh, I like that. So you're acknowledging the growth area, but also showing that you're proactive about it.
Exactly. It shows that you're willing to learn and grow, which is huge for any employer. Speaking of growth, the video also talks about how to answer, why are you leaving your current job?
Ugh, another tough one. Especially if you're, running for the hills.
Even if your last job was the actual worst, Never badmouth your previous employer.
You're serious. Even if my boss was like a tyrannical monster.
Especially then. Keep it positive. Focus on what you learned from that experience and what you're looking for in a new opportunity.
Okay, so instead of my last job was a soul-crushing nightmare, it's more like I'm grateful for the experience I gained, but I'm ready for a new challenge.
Now you're getting it. It's all about framing it as a positive career move.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
And it kind of naturally leads into asking questions at the end of the interview, right?
Exactly. The video really stresses the importance of asking thoughtful questions.
This one always throws me off. Like, what if I genuinely don't have any burning questions? Will they think I wasn't paying attention?
It's not about having a million questions. It's about showing them that you're curious and engaged.
Okay, so how do you come up with good questions on the spot? I can never think of anything that isn't, like, already on their website.
Think about things you'd want to know if you were actually considering working there. The video suggests asking about things like company culture, team dynamics, or even their approach to professional development.
Oh, those are good.
Eh.
It's like you're subtly showing them what you value in a workplace without saying, hire me because I'm a team player who loves to learn.
You got it. It's about showing them you're already thinking like a part of the team.
Okay, this is making so much sense now. So we've covered nerves, research, tricky questions, and asking our own questions. What's next on the interview checklist?
Well, according to this video, no interview is complete without a thank you note.
Yes, the email equivalent of a firm handshake. The video says to send it within 24 hours, which honestly seems a little intense after surviving an interview. But is it really that crucial?
In such a competitive job market, absolutely. A thoughtful thank you note can really make you stand out.
It's like they say, you never get a second chance to make a first impression.
Right.
But I guess that thank you note is your chance to really seal the deal.
Exactly. It's your opportunity to reiterate your interest and leave a lasting impression.
So it's got to be more than just a quick thanks for your time.
Definitely not. Anyone can write a generic email.
So how do you make it stand out?
Personalize it. Mention something specific that you discussed during the interview.
Oh, smart. Like maybe bring up a point they made that really resonated with you.
Exactly. Or even if a question popped into your head afterward, you could say something like, I was also thinking about.
It shows them you're still thinking about it even after you walked out.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of great advice from this video, but from your experience, what's the biggest mistake people make in interviews? What's the thing that makes you go, nope, next?
You know, it's funny. Sometimes people get so caught up in trying to say all the right things
Yeah.
that they forget to just be themselves.
Oh, trying to fit into some kind of perfect candidate mold.
Exactly. And it comes across as, well, inauthentic.
It's like those overly rehearsed presentations where you can tell the person's not even thinking about what they're saying.
It's the same idea. Authenticity is so important.
So how do you find that balance between being professional and, letting your personality shine through?
Think of it less like an interview and more like a conversation. You're both trying to see if it's a good fit.
That's a good way to look at it. Less pressure, too.
It should be a two-way street, you know? You're interviewing them just as much as they're interviewing you.
And sometimes, even if you nail the interview, it might not be the right fit.
Exactly. Don't be afraid to walk away if something doesn't feel right.
Trust your gut.
Absolutely.
Well, this has been incredibly insightful. I feel like I need to go update my resume now and practice my interview face.
Well, before you do, any final words of wisdom for our listeners who are getting ready to face their own interviews?
Lay it on us.
Remember, preparation is key. Do your research, practice your answers. But don't let it overshadow the most important thing, being yourself. Let your personality shine through, showcase your unique strengths, and don't be afraid to be a little vulnerable.
Be prepared, be authentic, be yourself. I love it. That's such great advice.
Good luck out there.
Thanks for diving into this with us. It's been a blast. And listeners, be sure to check out our next deep dive, where we'll be tackling